It's Friday, the 29th day of April. Indeed, it is also the last working day of the week. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Breakfast News. My name is Christopher. Atitso will be live on DSTV channel 362, Go TV channel 175, and we also streaming live for you also on Facebook at TV Africa Breakfast Live. Now, coming up in this package, President Akufo-Addo in a televised address says Ghana's democracy within the Fourth Republic has been good for the nation. And 4 people have been arrested at Okankwe South as NPP delegate threatens to halt constituency elections. And still staying a while within the Okankwe South, delegate in the Okankwe South refuses to vote without proper voting list. Details of these and other stories coming up in this package. Be my guest. Grateful for staying on. Now, President of the Republic, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, says democracy under the Fourth Republic has been good for the nation. Addressing the nation on Thursday, April 28, 2022, commemorating the 30th anniversary of the holding of the referendum that approved the 1992 Constitution, President Akufo-Addo noted that prior to the 1992 Constitution, Ghana had sampled almost every form of governance known to the nation.
Today, on 28th April 1992, we Ghanaians took one of the most important decisions of our history. We went to the polls to decide in a referendum the nature of the future governance of our nation, whether to continue to live under military rule or to live under democratic rule. Indeed, the days, months, years, and decades prior to that day had seen the nation sample almost every form of governance known to man. We began our life at independence with multi-party democracy, which transitioned in the First Republic into one-party rule. 3 out of the 5 coups d'etats in our history resulted in the overthrow of 3 civilian governments. 2 of the coups removed military governments, and there was strong resistance to the idea of the formation of a so-called union government in Ghana. Predictably, we experienced from these events a weakening of the sense of self-confidence and progress of the Ghanaian, which was evidenced by the fact that components of the Human Development Index, i.e. life expectancy rates, access to education, and per capita income indicators at the time were not commensurate with our vast potential. Several attempts to take Ghana down the path of multi-party democracy were met in some quarters with stiff opposition and cynical responses. Those who would rather have authoritarian rule foisted on the citizenry claimed Ghana was underdeveloped and we needed to get things done in a hurry. They claimed that democracy was cumbersome and would divide Ghanaians along tribal lines. However, the will was widespread and virtually unanimous to have the decade-long ban on party political activities imposed in 1981 lifted and a return to multi-party democracy established. The Ghanaian people wanted to live in conditions of freedom where there was respect for individual liberties, human rights, and the principles of democratic accountability. The Provisional National Defense Council, PNDC, in power since the 31st December 1981 coup, set up the National Consultative Assembly in May 1991 and tasked the body to prepare a draft constitution for the country. 3 months down the line, a draft constitution was produced, and on 28 April 1992, Ghanaians went to the polls in the referendum to make a decision
And away from that, the Deputy Chairman of the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, Samuel Asari Ekwuamwa, has highlighted on the activities for the 2022 Annual Constitution Week celebration. He said the institution's mandate among its functions to sustain within the society the awareness and principles of objective as well as the objectives of the 1992 Constitution.
28th of April 2022, it's exactly 30 years since the people of Ghana voted in referendum to accept the 1992 Constitution as the fundamental law of the land and ushering in Ghana's decades of democratic practice. Based on that, the National Commission for Civic Education launched and outlines activities for the 2020 Annual Constitution Week celebration. Speaking at the launch, the Deputy Chairman of the NCCE, Samuel Asari Ekwuamwa, said the NCCE is mandated to sustain within the society the awareness of the principles and objectives of the 1992 Constitution as the fundamental law of the people of Ghana.
This year marks a very important celebration. The Constitution, as we know, is called 1992 Constitution. But every year on the 7th day of January, that is when we mark a day for the Constitution, because that was when the Constitution came into force. But there is also a very significant achievement on the 28th of April 1992 by the people of Ghana, when in a referendum, electorate voted to endorse the Constitution which we are running now, which came into force on the 7th of January 1993. So this implies that the Constitution was given birth to on the 28th of April 1992. Then the title 1992 Constitution couldn't have come by any accident. It came as a result of this. And you agree with me that today marks exactly 30 years when that elections to conduct a referendum to endorse the work of the Consultative Assembly that had debated the draft constitution then. And for us, it's a very big achievement because it's unprecedented in the history of this country. And for the first time in the history of Ghana, we have had a constitution which has lived on for 3 decades. It's unprecedented, and we need to celebrate it.
Deputy Chairman in charge of Finance and Administration, Kathleen Addy, outlined measures to ensure the 30 years Constitution Week by the institution. In her presentation, the Director for Communication and Corporate Affairs, Joyce Efutu, highlighted on the activities and core mandate of the institution. She then called on the media to play a major role in educating Ghanaians on the Constitution.
And now let's turn attention to some political unrest issues because 4 people have been arrested in connection with some Okankwe South NPP delegate constituency elections. Some new patriotic party delegates in the Okankwe South have vowed to block the conduct of the constituency executive elections if names of qualified delegates are not included in the register.
We are coordinators. It's not just they are prepare Abon. Abon na you prepare, you know. I say eba na kayenhwem na omo sebi omo be contesting no kra no omo benya opportunity ehu delegates kra omo be campaign na omo be to abade ama omo abon no emmaye enra anopa ne ti say election no eye ne enti enra be 4 o'clock ansa yenya abon no yɛde kɔ consensus no zones no ɔmo hwɛ mi no ɔmo hu sɛ nipa bebree yɛasesa ɔmo a yɛnim sɛ ɔmo na mo bɛwɔ mu no abɔn ne baeɛ no ne yɛasesa ɔmo nti na time no so ayɛ short nti na kyerɛ sɛ there is no way as constituency executive yɛbɛtumi aka sɛ yɛkɔhwɛ saa asɛm no ayɛ dɛ aka ɔmo a yɛyi ɔmo afim bɛyɛ 400 no nso sɛ saa deɛ a abatɔ no ɔmo ma ne mma so.
Since akomia time sɛ ɛbɛyɛ election nipa bɛyɛ sei no me hu bi da me so me nti aseɛ me yɛ delegate English amanfrom so ati aseɛ yɛyi me afi me no nkasa because party no I have my interested in the party nyɛ human being because Peter Lanjete no mu ka kyerɛ yɛn sɛ party ni yɛn we are not worshiping nipa so ati aseɛ nti we no ɛnyɛ na yɛfrɛ me ayimakye sɛ election no wɔ ha nka me hu bi da sɛ.
And still staying a while longer at the Okankwe South constituency, the delegate of the Okankwe South constituency under the leadership of the Member of Parliament, Dakwa Newman, are refusing to vote to elect new constituency executive over loss of names of delegates. This has caused a lot of confusion and havoc at the Okankwe South municipality. Some delegates explained their refusal to vote due to the change of names in the voters register, where they indicate that most names have been removed from the register. And turning away from the politics, let's turn attention to some business-related issues because the Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana, BOG, Philip Abrodo Otu, has revealed that the Ghanaian economy is gradually recovering from the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic following the coordinated fiscal policies implemented by the BOG, such as the raising of the monetary policy rate by 250 basis points to 17% and to attract investors. He, however, expressed worry over the country's high inflation rate, which has reached 19.3%. Report by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, reveals that the growth of the global economy has declined from the projected 4.4% to 3.6% due to the geopolitical crisis between Ukraine and Russia, as well as the negative impact of the pandemic. The Ghana cedi has also suffered a depreciation against the US dollar, a situation, according to government officials, has negatively impacted the Ghanaian economy in areas of food security, trade, among others. In view of this, the Bank of Ghana and the government has implemented measures for a robust recovery of the economy. Speaking at a workshop session by the Journalist for Business Advocacy (JBA) under the theme Credible Financial Reporting, a Key for Financial Stability, the Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana (BOG), Philip Abrodo Otu, revealed that the Ghanaian economy is gradually recovering from the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic following the coordinated fiscal policies implemented by the Bank of Ghana.
From the pandemic, it is clear the numbers that we saw from the Ghana Statistical Service showed that overall GDP for 2021 was higher than the 4.4% that we targeted. So the economy bounced back 1 percentage point more than what was envisaged. Non-oil growth alone was at 6.3%. That is, if you take out oil, we see non-oil at 6.3%, and it's expected more vigorous activity in 2021 than in 2022, than in 2020. And the indication is that the economy is pushing towards its pre-pandemic level. And this is good news for all of us. The bad news is the inflation story, which has jumped up. We all know. But from the bank's point of view, if you go into the choppiness of the inflation data, you begin to see that there are those that are related to external factors, there are those that are related to crude oil, then there are those that are also related to the exchange rate, and then there are those that are related to slight aggregate demand pressures that have come into the economy as a result of the rebound in economic activity. So if you digest the inflation numbers carefully, you can begin to see what has caused inflation. It's not all purely policy that has gone haywire that has resulted in inflation moving to 90. A large component is food, which is foreign driven. A large component is external, which is foreign driven. And these are the reasons why we are seeing what we are seeing.
Speaking to TV Africa Business News, the president of the Journalists for Business Advocacy, JBA, Suleimana Mustafa, urged journalists to be circumspect and adhere to professional ethics in order to contribute to financial stability.
First of all, we just have to look at the relevance of the theme. Credible reporting key to financial stability. This theme is so appropriate because one of the issues that drive economies down is biased reporting or interpretation of facts wrongly or presenting a gloomy situation when the situation actually is good. So journalists ought to present whatever they report. That is what in international media also pick, because they do desk reporting. So when they do desk reporting, they pick whatever we report here, and then that is how they project the country globally or internationally.
And still staying a while longer in matters of business, the Director of Research at the Bank of Ghana, Philip Abrodo Otu, has again revealed that due to the financial cleanup exercise by the central bank, it has actually made the financial space strong and robust. He said this at a workshop session by the Journalists for Business Advocacy, JBA, under the theme, Credible Financial Reporting, a tool for financial stability via Zoom.
Sector over the 2-year period could also be attributed to the financial sector reform that took place. So we've had a banking sector that has had large shock absorbers to contain these shocks. I mean, could you have imagined a situation where the economy would have been if the banks were not strong at this particular point in time? There would have been chaos. We would have seen an economy that is going down alongside a banking sector that is unable to address the needs of the economy. So there might be weaknesses, there might be vulnerabilities, but the banks are strong enough to be offsetting some of these weaknesses by continuing to do what they do best, providing liquidity to support economic activity.
And on the notice of the financial space becoming strong and robust, this is where we draw curtains on today's edition of Breakfast News. My name is Christopher Atitso. It is a Friday, and of course, the last working day of the week and the last Friday in the month of April. Be the best of yourself. And then Kokulumo is on standby with details and the rest of Breakfast Live, from politics through to entertainment, E&L, among others. Today is International Dance Day. Dance your heart out, and at least try some dance moves. Have a productive day. Bye-bye.